Looks like we're live. Hello, everybody. This is Daniel with the awesome Hot Sauce Semper Fry LLC.com. It has been a long time since I left you. So let's talk about some stuff. Yes, San Diego is still a place where you can get our brand awesome hot sauce. I do not run the store anymore. It's no longer called the Awesome Hot Sauce Store. It hasn't been that name since 2022 in July. We were there for 7 years. Most of them were awesome. After that thing that happened to everybody back in 2021, give or take, it got a little bit harder. And so, a lot harder. So we are wholesaling to the new operators. And the store is called the Crazy Pepper. You have probably seen video on this channel that shows that. Now, since I don't post enough on here, I'm not expecting to hit a lot of people, but this will go in the newsletter as well because there's information in here you're going to want to know. Okay, so yes to the spicy honey. We have limited amount in stock. Rebecca made some. People have been asking us, emailing us, and I thought it'd be best just to answer in video form. So yes, we do have the spicy honey. It is back in stock on the website semperfryllc.com. Now let me get you over to there real quick. Show you what I'm talking about. A couple things actually. Oops. Let's get rid of that guy. Okay. So if we were on the website, give it a second. Just gotta make sure you're seeing what I'm seeing. Do you see what I see? No, you don't, because I'm on the wrong spot. Now you do. All right, perfect. I just have to move my head around a little bit. Let's go to scene 3 here. All right, there you go. Okay, so if you are on Semperfry, SEMPERFRYLLC.com, that's SEMPERFRYLLC.com, the coupon code is 10% off. It's one stop shop, all caps, no spaces, the number one, and then stop shop. Okay. Some new things. They're not exactly new, but I have yet to cover them on a video here. I have a show with Dr. Peter Glidden. You can, if you do this, you just go ahead and highlight it, scroll across, holding the left button down, and then you hit the right click button over the top of it. And there should be one that says go to, right? If you click that, it'll bring you here. And these are just a small sample of the last 3 years that we've been doing the show. I put them all on their own channel. I have a separate channel that they were on where they get a lot more views and all that. And we have like 5,000 followers over there. But this is just all the Dr. Glidden and Dr. Monzo appearances on this channel. Go ahead and check it out if you like. You're going to learn an awful lot. And there's so much to learn. But it's not difficult. And that's an amazing thing. When it comes to health, we've been lied to. We've been told things are way more complicated than they are. We've been told that our bodies are not smart and that it can't fix itself. And we've never been taught the importance of nutrition. These are all lies. These are all big, big lies. And if anybody knows anything about me, I moved my family to Arizona back in 2017 because I didn't want them poisoning my daughter through the pediatrics. And I was making that commute to the store for 5 years straight, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 times a week. 3 hours there, 3 hours back, 11-hour shifts, plus filling the store shelves. So I was working 18-hour days every day in between before I would leave. Okay. So this is it right here. This is the Dr. Glidden. If you want to become a member, I would highly recommend you checking out some of our shows. But once you do that, you just click Dr. Glidden. If you're already familiar with him, he's actually quite famous. He's a very good friend. He's become a very good friend in the last 3 years. When you become a member, you'll have access to his live Q&As that he does Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Wednesdays, he's with me on that channel that I told you about, and it's a live call, and you can ask him your questions then too. So Tuesdays and Thursdays. Obviously, the 27th is Thanksgiving, so he's not doing it that Thursday, but that's his schedule. And every time is in Central, so just be aware of that when you're looking it up. Because he's, I think, in Illinois. Okay, now here's the big thing here, and I want to show you this. It's very important. This thing at the bottom in blue says, check out Azure Whole Food Supplements. Now, this is the big difference here, that they're whole food supplements. Most vitamins, quote unquote, aren't real vitamins. The stuff that you get that's cheap at major grocery stores, grocery/department stores, some that start with a W and with a Mart, they're usually all very bad for you. Just to give an example, what they call vitamin C isn't vitamin C. What they make and what's cheapest to sell to the public is created with potentially glyphosate and GMO corn sugar or cornstarch and hydrochloric acid, which all that does is it isolates ascorbic acid, but that's not even the proper form that the body is friendly with, if you would, because real whole food vitamin C is going to have ascorbic, acetic, and a copper bond. Otherwise, it's going to have an affinity for copper. And mineral copper, the stuff that your body needs for ATP energy and your mitochondria, that needs to keep the myelin sheathing, which is basically like your insulation on your wires being your nerves, to keep that healthy. And it's also what helps produce your elastin, which is like your stomach lining. So if you don't like hernias, or if you don't want your arteries and vessels to burst when they're expanding and contracting, you want elastin in your body. So if something that you take in high quantity because you feel sick starts pulling copper away from you, not to mention sugars do this and all kinds of other pharmaceuticals like medications, they attack your minerals. And for some reason, it's almost as if it's on purpose. A lot of them deplete you of copper, which makes you fatigued. It changes your mood into a sour mood and lethargy, apathy, and then, of course, all these other things that could break down because of the lack of elastin and myelin sheathing on your nerves, all kinds of bad problems, right? So, rather than let that happen, whole food vitamin supplements, and that's just one supplement that I talked about. That's just what they call vitamin C. It's a pharmaceutical product because it's made in a lab. From Dr. Monzo, you use code BB5. That's Bravo 5, BB5. 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 You see right there too. You see it on the page. You just click the picture. So you see a little picture of this supplements here. You see his little thing there. His designed by Dr. Alfonso Monzo III, naturopathic doctor. This man, you'll see him on my channel that I've just pointed out to you. He is a living Nikola Tesla, and there's no other way to explain it. It's like a naturopathic doctor who has the knowledge and the at least the understanding of a Nikola Tesla in those particular areas. Now, what is it that the body needs? It needs 90 essential nutrients. Dr. Joel Wallach figured this out after doing autopsies of tons and tons and tons of not only people, but animals, veterinary, and he was able to figure out that the cause of illness and specific illnesses almost always had to do with some sort of depletion or deficiency in some nutrient or multiple nutrients. He said there's 90 essential nutrients that the body needs in order to fix itself, heal itself. It has an innate wisdom. It can do it all on its own most of the time. And every once in a while, you need a homeopathic remedy, or you need a hands-on touch to get the energy flowing and get the software basically going where it needs to go in the body. When I say software, don't freak out. What I'm saying is the information, because even if you have the proper nutrients, sometimes if there's a blockage in your energy flow, which means just some sort of issue, symptoms, even though you have all the nutrients, then a homeopathic will do it one way. Dr. Dr. Monzo's Hands-on Healing with this book will do it the other way. And all it does is provide the information where it's not getting to, and then the nutrients take over the rest. It's like if you have all the workers on the job site, but you don't have the lumber, you're not going to build any frames that day, right? You can have if you it's just the raw material that the body needs to make its processes run. Okay, don't hide from cholesterol. Don't hide from salt. I don't care what anybody tells you. Statin drugs will kill you. But anyway, and I've got too many casualties on my side of the family to prove that. Whole food multivitamin right here. Okay, I'm going to tell you what the 90 essentials are and how to get them for yourself so that you can live a healthier life. This is going to help you, and that's what matters to me. So that's why it's on my site. I don't affiliate myself with just any old garbage. I don't have affiliates really for any of the stuff that I do, except for the people who I know personally, who I've met personally, who have been long established with me, and whose information I understand and it makes sense. And I've tested it on myself and it works. Okay. Dr. Glidden helped me through kidney stones painlessly. That was an amazing feat that the MDs at my hospital here, they couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They refused and sent me home in agony with freaking Tylenol, which is horrible. And let's put it this way: they gave me a shot of Dilaudid when I was in there because of the pain, and then they sent me home with Tylenol. That was like kicking me in. They may as well have kicked me in the balls on the way out. So, and they irradiated me. Don't get CT scans, kids. 500 times more radiation than a regular X-ray, and they don't need to do that on like 99% of the time. It's because of this, okay? So understand what to do and why they do it. You'd be better off. It's not for you, it's a business, okay? So going back to the thing, though, they irradiated me and they already knew that I had kidney stones from the previous time when I had an inguinal hernia and I needed an operation. They had already done a CT scan at that time without the radioactive dye, because I won't let them do that either. And they said, "Oh yeah, we knew you had one. You have two, actually. There's one on one side, one on the other side." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" They're like, "Oh yeah, and about the size of a pencil eraser, jagged, and we're not going to try to break them down with the sonic thing. You're just going to have to go home and live in agony for them until they come out." So I called Dr. Glidden and I'm like, is this the best? And he pointed me to well, first of all, I started off on his website. So I went over here, and because I'm a member and I have been a member, I went over to where it says the health recovery protocols. Okay. And I scrolled down here, and then there's a whole list of these are labels, right? These are spells. When a doctor in his medical practice of pharmakia tells you something, he's casting a spell, because what it does is it puts you in his world where only the things that he tells you fill your world. So if he tells you that you have cancer and all that there is to fix this is mustard gas, chemo, and radiation that destroys your body, and this is the best that medical science can offer, you're going to believe it. And in some cases, you're going to be put in jail if you don't do it, or you're going to be forced into it, or they're going to, if it's your children, they're going to take them from you and poison them, regardless if you want to do it a different way or not. So the best advice I can give you is don't go to these people in the first place. Instead, become a member on Dr. Glidden's site. And if you have issues, come to his Q&A and tell him your symptoms. Homeopathics work in a different way. It's not about the name. It's about your symptoms. So if you have a headache, don't just say, "I have a headache." Is it sharp? Is it on the left side, the right side, the front, the back, the center? Is it throbbing? Is it a sharp pain? Is it dull? These are what matter, because the symptoms will tell him what homeopathic remedy will balance the boat. You're listing a little bit, the ballasts come in, and then boom, you're back in order. And all it's doing is helping the body understand what's going on. So it's like giving it the missing information that it needs in order to fix itself. And it's only going to do that, or it's going to do it better and quicker if it has the raw materials to do so. So like I'm here just to give you an example. I went down the kidney stones. I watched this video here. It was 54 minutes long, and there was recommendations in there. But I remember I noticed that this video was 2015 or 16. I said, "Dr. Glidden," texted him, "Is there anything else that I can do?" that you've come across since then, or is this pretty good? He said, "No, all that information is good, but in addition, let me give you this. Go get Cali carbonicum. Now, because of the pain, 10 different people with 10 different kidney stones, they might need a different homeopathic. And this is how weird and crazy the world of homeopathy is, and the human body. Depending on how it hurts and where it hurts, and you might need a different homeopathic remedy just for that. Cali carbonicum worked for me in that particular instance. I was in agonizing, doubled over pain. He said, take 2 pills, two of the pellets every 20 minutes for 60 minutes, and that way you'll by then you'll know if it's the right one. And by the second dose, the pain was gone. So I was like, yes, you hit it on the first one. He said, get these 4. He told me to get 4 different homeopathic pellet remedy, things. And he said, start with the Cali carbonicum. And the first one he told me to use is the first one that worked. And then he told me to get something else. So I was getting this video told you about the Berberis vulgaris, I think it was called. And then the other one was something that dissolved, and that wasn't on the video. He told me, go get this thing, get as fast as you can, and take it, and it'll dissolve the stone before it goes through your system, so it's not going to tear you up on the way out. And sure enough, it did. It broke it down, and ta-da! So that's the magic of naturopathy versus the MDs who wanted to send me home to be in agony, and also irradiated me and put me closer to death or a potential problem with radiation poisoning later in life, which could develop into cancer or any other thing. They decided to do that. So that's damaging versus healing. These are non-invasive methods when you go the natural route. So what do you need? What are those 90 essential nutrients that you need to make your body strong and healthy? Right here. So I'm going to show you again how we got here. We come here, we click the Dr. Monzo picture. After you should totally become a member at Dr. Glidden's site, because this will be your new doctor. All right. When you want your supplements, you come over here, you hit this, and you use code BB5 on the way out. It's going to save you money. Okay. Whole food multivitamin right here. That is just what it sounds like, but it's a whole food multivitamin. So lower dosage, more energetic properties and principles. It's going to jive well more naturally with your body. Okay. The fulvicumic acid is like all of the minerals. It's not like it is those. And this thing right here, even though it says 5083, guess what? That little jar right there of 1.1 ounces, let me click it for you. Let me get my head out of the way. This thing above my head, that is a 3-month supply at the very least. It tells you to start off with 1/16 ounce. Mineral sourced from rich soil in Canada, not rocks. Supports healthy digestion and overall well-being. May help promote the body's natural detoxification process. Exhibits powerful antioxidant properties. Antioxidants are super important, especially when you have a crap diet. But we'll talk about that in a second. Promotes the absorption of essential nutrients like minerals and vitamins, supporting the whole body mineral health. Okay. You can continue to read on this if you want. So it supports gut health, strengthens immune function, supports nutrient absorption, optimizes cellular function, supports energy levels, supports brain health, fights free radicals because the antioxidant property, supports detoxification. It could be a binder, not a chelator, but a binder. So if you think about it, so what's a binder? Stuff that's already floating around that's kind of toxic in your body, some crapola. It'll bind it and pull it out. A chelator is more like your ice scraper on the windshield. It's that stuff that's caked on. Like if you see the guy with the little piece of, metal that's scraping your tooth at the doctor's office to get the plaque off, that's like what a chelator does. It gets in there and starts scrubbing, basically. That's the difference between a chelator and a binder. Okay, so the fulvicumic blend. This is telling you to start off with just 1/16 of a teaspoon. If you only use 1/16 of a teaspoon every time you took it, this would actually last you 6 months. So that $50 could be divided by 6. It's less than $10 a month. Okay. If you go up to 1/8 of a teaspoon, which should be your max dose per day, then it'll last you 3 months. So you can divide that $50 by 3, and that's how much your monthly cost would be. So you don't always have to order this every month. Okay. Oops. The whole food multivitamin, however, that's a 1-month supply, and this is very bioavailable. It's immune health, red blood cell production, maintenance of connective tissue, high energy amplification, cognitive health, the brain here. But you know what else does that? Cholesterol. That's right. Everything that they told you the opposite of is true. It's bone strengthening and flexibility, gut balance, optimal liver function. There's 120 capsules in there, which I'm thinking that means you take 4 a day. And you can do 2 and 2. You know, you can do 2 in the morning, 2 in the night, whatever way you want to do it. And this is all of there's selenium in there too, which is amazingly good. And there's also these things here, which make it even more beneficial. There's a botanical blend here, and you'll see all the ingredients there. You can look at them yourself. Immune blend and an organic fermented greens blend. This isn't just your regular everyday multivitamin. This thing is packed. And there's a thing called Tangy Tangerine from Youngevity, but it's $82. This is $39 plus you're getting a $5 discount. Okay. And it has those proprietary blends in there that you're not going to find in the Tangy Tangerine. So those two. So we're doing our count, right? This so far for our 90 essentials, it's this and that. Now we're going to scroll down. You can add the trace replace ionic minerals. It's only $11. It's a dropper. If you feel like adding that, that's fine. Now there's a whole food C complex in here. A lot of people like to keep this on hand because they're used to grabbing vitamin C with rose hips or whatever at their house whenever they start to feel sick or they're around a bunch of kids and they got runny noses, whatever, they start taking vitamin C. It's not really how it works. I'll explain that some other time. Or you can watch me and Dr. Glidden. People have a misconception of what contagion is. It works on the energetic principle, not on something like a virus or not even hardly ever bacterial, but that is a potential, but the virus thing is completely whacked. And more often than not, it's exposure to a common toxic in the environment, and then everybody's blaming each other for giving it to each other, when in reality, it's something's happening from an exterior position. Okay, anyway, so the vitamin C, it's right there. What I want, that's not essential. That's not necessarily part of this because you're going to get some out of the whole food multivitamin. So that's just an additional if you want that. Scroll down, core copper, right here, boom. Now, like I told you, so many things fight and take your copper from you. This is a very inexpensive supplement, and it's highly beneficial, so I highly recommend it. Let me put my head on the other side now because it looks like I'm in the way. Boop. There you go. I made the noise in my mouth in case you didn't know. I'm so clever. All right. So additionally, copper plays a role in contributing to neural function and influencing mood and cognition. An imbalance in copper in the body can potentially affect immune responses and overall homeostasis. Given the multifaceted roles copper undertakes, Azure Wells Core Copper can ensure its adequate and balanced intake for health maintenance. This product is absorbable and bioavailable, assists cellular energy production, facilitates iron metabolism. Okay, so copper and iron have a relationship in the body. When they tell you don't have a lot of iron in your blood and they tell you you're anemic, chances are they're wrong, because they're doing a test of your blood. They're not testing how much iron has been lodged into your tissues, causing oxidative stress, fatigue, and joint soreness. So you should probably never ever take an iron supplement. You're getting it from all different places you don't even know you're getting it from. They add it to everything. There's no need to take an extra iron supplement. And if anybody tells you to do that, they don't know what they're talking about, and they're only looking at the blood. That's like you deciding how much stock, as in like back stock or inventory, Amazon has based on what they have in the mail en route in transit to someone's house. Because that's where the blood is like the thing that's in transit with that amount. You don't know what's in the inventory. The inventory would be the tissue. You're not even counting the inventory, but you're trying to make a guess as to what's in the inventory based on what's moving around in the blood. It doesn't make sense to even do it that way. Okay? So this one is absorbable and bioavailable. Assists in cellular energy production, facilitates in iron metabolism, bolsters antioxidant defense systems, aids in connective tissue formation. Anybody work out? Anybody bodybuilder? Anybody have to lift things, squats, anything like that? You don't want to hurt like this. Like I said, if you have potential for herniated anything, you're gonna want this, and you don't want to tear things and all that good stuff. And just getting older, that just helps anyway. Supports the nervous system. Why do people say they get old and they have, oh, this is just a way of getting old? It's because they've gone through a lifetime of having deficiencies in their body. As they get older, it's just that much longer that they've been going through life with inadequate amounts of the things that they need to make their body function at the proper level. So things start to break down in different ways. They start expressing symptoms and conditions express themselves differently in different people, even if they have the same deficiency. Does that make sense? It's just kind of like where the body decides to throw it. It kind of like that's it's expressing itself, saying to you like a little like beacon, like, hey, this is a problem, you know. Aids in connective tissue formation, supports the nervous system, aids in melanin production, supports the immune system. Key mineral with synergistic superfoods that promotes energy and combats fatigue and apathy and indifference. The form, do you know that mineral deficiencies can actually determine how much empathy, love, and compassion and connection you have toward other people? Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Assists cellular energy production, facilitates iron metabolism. That's the saying the same thing, just a little bit more. Oh, aids in melanin production, which determines the coloration of skin, hair, and eyes. Hair color. Hair color. Maintain, and maybe even bring it back, depending on if you cut out the other stuff. And wait, it actually bring color back. I've seen it happen with people. And there's a little video here. That's a smaller bottle. I don't even know if I don't think they even have that anymore. That's an old picture. But Dr. Monzo formulated these for them. He's on their channel on YouTube often talking about the supplements. Now, copper is typically blue when it's mineral copper. The reason why the pills themselves are orange is because there's turmeric in there too. Okay, but the beef liver powder, the copper, it's good stuff. 1 capsule a day. He was taking 2, I think, and he feels great now. Dr. Bonzo himself. We don't just talk about it; we do it. You know what I mean? All right, so there's that. So if we're doing a count here, so far we got the whole food multivitamin, the fulvic humic acid. If you want the trace mineral replaced, you can throw that in there, and then just go down the core copper. Now, getting to the last ingredient here, there's a testosterone support for men that does things in a whole different way that you might be interested in, and a woman's feminine balance as well, right here. Super cheap. Where we at? Click the load more until you find this right here, the IP6 Supreme. So this has your magnesium and your calcium. Anyone who tells you that you're getting kidney stones because you don't have enough, because you have too much calcium, or if they tell you have too much calcium, be careful calcium, they don't know what they're talking about. And if they have you on an osteoporosis preventing medication, they're going to make your bones brittle so that they snap and you fall and you break like glass, like a Fabergé egg, like a glass menagerie. You're going to crumble and shatter because what they do when they give you those drugs, there's 2 things that that are happening all the time in your body. There's osteoblasts that are putting new bone on. There's osteoclasts that are breaking down the old bone. so that the new bone can be formed and a constant cycle of breaking down and rebuilding. So you constantly have a need for calcium. Calcium also helps to regulate your blood, keeps your heart from losing its crap and going dirt. So you need calcium for lots of things. Now, when you don't have enough calcium, your body, to keep your other functions like your heart and everything working right, will take it from your bones. That's how you get the kidney stone buildup of the calcium. It's not because you had too much calcium. It's because I had to steal it from someplace else, and it ends up building up in your kidneys. Totally different situation and complete opposite of what they told you. If you had enough calcium in your system, that would never have happened, and kidney stones never would have formed. Okay? So when you have enough calcium in your system, your osteoclast can continue to build new bone, and you have enough free flowing calcium in your blood to keep your heart regulated properly. Okay. When they give you a medication for, uh, they say you have osteoporosis. When they give you a medication for it, what they do is they shut down the osteoclasts, the thing that's breaking down the old bone. Don't you see the problem here? That means the old bone remains. That means the old bone gets weaker and weaker and weaker because nothing's breaking it down so that the new stuff can go up. And if you're not getting any more calcium from someplace because they're already telling you that you have an issue with it, or you're getting like an 8% absorption rate from a calcium carbonate, which is basically crushed up limestone, you may as well be eating a sidewalk. You're not going to get the proper absorption. You get 1,200 milligrams a day. You'd be lucky if you had like 100 milligrams of that, and that you're not hitting the levels that you think you are. I think it's like 60 milligrams you end up with. So having a bioavailable, absorbable calcium is super important. I use the Beyond Osteo Effects from Longevity, and I use the IP6 Supreme. So one's a liquid. Some people don't like it. I think it's delicious. The Beyond Osteo Effects, and then this, the IP6 Supreme. It also has inositol in it. Supports a wide range of body functions, including immune health, DNA and integrity, heart health, kidney function, bone health, and healthy glucose metabolism, sugar metabolism. Great source of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Supports healthy immune cell activity made from the highest quality non-GMO rice bran in Japan. Contains no fillers, pure and quality tested, safe for pets. Pure and unflavored. This is the powder. This is the one I recommend instead of the pills. IP6 has the ability to regulate iron in the body and can have implications for various physiological processes. So we talked about iron building up in the tissues. This is the solution for that. So less fatigue, less oxidative stress, less what they call rust in the body, like literal rust, oxidative stress from the iron building up in different parts around the joints and screwing up your body, making you sore, making you tired. IP6 helps to regulate that. Contains no fillers. And let's see. This a quarter scoop for twice a day on an empty stomach for general wellness. Maximum support is 1 scoop. And for pets, and it tells you a little weight thing here. You can give it to your pets too for their bone health. So calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, IP6, inositol, and 2 different types of inositol. Okay. So that's the gamut. Now the only thing that we're missing right now is the essential fatty acids. And by the way, I'm going to be putting out my own taurine soon, so be on the lookout for that. I already have a creatine hydrochloride that doesn't require a bulking phase. Oh yeah, a loading phase. So right now, there's a botanical body clay pack right there. Let's keep loading. That's the pill form of the IP6 Supreme. I think the scoops are better. You can even mix it with something. I've been on a 3-day fast. I did 3.5 days. I ate today around 1 o'clock. And I'm gonna do another 3 days starting when I stopped eating. So there's all kinds of stuff in here, Castile soap. Anything that you get here, you're gonna get a discount of 5% off from me using code Bravo5 BB5. I'm just saying Bravo so you understand that it's a B that I'm saying and not D. Alaskan cod liver oil with retinol is out of stock at the moment. There's 2 different sizes. One is 1,200 milligrams. One is 415 milligrams. So if you want to take less soft gels, but you want them bigger, the $29.95 one will be back in stock hopefully soon. And this is where you get your essential fatty acids. In the meantime, have some tuna and don't cook with seed oils. So do you want to know some things to help you so that you're not putting in poison all the time that your body has to react to? Because one thing that people always say when I said cholesterol, they're like, oh, well, why are my arteries clogging up? I said, because you're eating food that's inflaming your system. If you're eating fried foods, if you're eating casein and whey, if you're a bodybuilder, those are all inflammatory proteins that will screw up your body with polyunsaturated fatty acids. But the seed oils, all these things that aren't natural, anything that comes in any oil that comes in a glass bottle is oxidated. All right, so it's going to cause oxidative stress in the system. So we go back over to Dr. I'm just going to X out some of these so that we can get back into it. All right. So I'm going to go back over to Dr. Glidden's site. As a member, once you become one, you go to the medical insight page. So the first one I was on was the health recovery protocols, and that's where the list is for all your ailments or the spells that they cast on you and tell you that you have this and that and the other thing. That's that list. Medical insights is a list of informative videos. When you scroll down, 12 bad foods. This is all these little rectangles are videos. You click on that, and you're going to learn a lot. He says this is the last time you're going to like me because a lot of these foods people can't live without because this is how we've been conditioned to live, and that's the American diet. And we need to go back to cooking with butter like we were 50 years ago, and not using seed oils, not heating seed oils. Definitely don't ever cook with olive oil. I used to always cook with olive oil. I'm Italian, but I don't anymore. I just cook that. If I start at a pan before I start cooking anything else, it used to be olive oil, and I would dice up a couple cloves of garlic, and that would be my setting up the flavor profile for the rest of the food that I'm going to add into it. And now I just use that with butter, and every once in a while I'll use a little bit of olive oil, fresh, not heated, in something as a finisher rather than using it. And I don't eat bread anymore, but if I did, I wouldn't have a problem doing like the balsamic vinegar and the olive oil every once in a while with the salt, and with the bread dip. But I don't do any of that stuff anymore. The pastas, all that stuff, it's out of my life. The things that I've learned about protein sizes and how they paralyze the small intestine, the microfilia that actually absorb the nutrients in your food, and some of the other food that we eat that destroys the healthy gut bacteria. We don't need any of it. We're constantly beating ourselves up and then wondering what's happening to us. The cholesterol is a patch. So if you're taking in food that's inflammatory to your system, the inflammation could literally kill you. So what your body does, because it's smart and it knows how to fix itself, will put a patch or a layer of cholesterol over the top of the inflamed internal parts of your body, which would be where your blood flows through. Well, if you keep on eating the same stuff that's inflaming your system, the patches continue to go on and on and on, and it gets thicker. And then you blame too much cholesterol. Well, that's not what actually did it. What did it was constantly putting the wrong fuel in your tank, causing that to have to react in some way in order to keep you alive. Okay, so 12 bad foods right here. 10 questions to ask your MD right there. 13 questions to ask your oncologist. If you're even this far, I would run and hide in the hills and contact an ND. Make sure you're on 90 essential nutrients. And a lot of times, things like leukemia. There's other things that cause cancer, like potential parasites in a sac that your body put around it that they call a tumor could be parasitic. It could just be a load of toxins that your body was smart enough to put in an isolated chamber, and then some idiot comes along and stabs it and bursts it all into your system. They call that a biopsy. Dumb. Now it's all dumped into your system and it's all over the place again. Your body had it all concealed, even if it wasn't a tumor. Now, there's ways to, when you know that that's what's happening, you can address it with homeopathy, with nutrition, and a lot of times those things will go away on their own. It kind of beats the whole, let's just poison ourselves to death when we're at our weakest. Or, hey, I'm going to determine the health of the person based on a snapshot in time of their blood, and their white blood cell count is XYZ, so therefore they have leukemia, like they did with my aunt. She went They told her she had acute leukemia, 2.5 years of radiation and chemotherapy, and they murdered a mother of 3. So, I'm not okay with that anymore. It's why I'm so adamant about this stuff. They took my little brother with injections when he was 2 months and 2 weeks. They took my aunt, and she just had her for her 3rd child, which was her 1st daughter. I'm done with it. I was like 11, 12 when they finally she lost her life. Stuck with me for a long time. I made damn sure that I learned better, and only wish that I could have gone back in time and done something, you know? But here's one on cholesterol. And so how do you do that? You make sure that you keep your family that you have now healthy, or do your best to try to talk to them about it and help others that want to listen, you know? What did Jesus say? I'm not forcing anybody to listen to me, but those who want to listen, you know, pull up a chair, basically. That's really wildly paraphrased, but you get it. 5 laws of homeopathy, the law of potentization, the law of similars. Those are 2 main ones. Salt, selenium, thyroid health. He's actually, and the soothing meditation one might surprise you, but it's actually pretty cool. He talks about how bad they are. This isn't pro-vaccination. This is just so you're aware. Like, he's no. That's not what someone is about. Oh, by the way, when you are fully nutrified, your body, although you always have habits, if you have impulses that you created, you'll have routines, or you'll have nervous energy, and when you're bored or pacing through the house, you might tend to stop and try to, go into the cupboard or the refrigerator. Those are habits. That's different than cravings and impulses that are more mental than they are routinely, right? If you have all of your mineral nutrition, your vitamin nutrition satisfied, you're not going to constantly be hungry, because the reason why you're hungry is because your body is still searching for something it hasn't been getting. So a lot of the oh, you eat plenty, you should have everything. No, and that's not what if you're eating too much, that usually means that you're not getting all your nutrients. And that's how they actually fatten horses, and not horses, fatten like livestock up before auction, is they'll feed them minerals in their food, applied minerals, added minerals into their feed, and then they take them away toward the time that's going to be to take in the market. And then that way they'll keep on eating and keep on eating, not being satiated, because they're not getting the nutrients that they were getting before that were satisfying them. So this all makes very good sense. So you want to be fully nutrified if you want to be healthy, if you want to be in good shape as well. So this is where the Azure Well comes in. One more time: whole food multivitamin, fulvic humic acid, trace minerals. You should add on to that, I think. Going down to the core copper, make sure you have that, and then the IP6 Supreme. This is the bare bones minimum right there. Okay? Boom. Now, if you are a member of Dr. Glennon's site, you can also, as an alternative, but I'm just going to tell you, this is going to be a lot more this. So if you got the moolah for it, if you got the budget for it, that's fine. There's Dr. Glennon's book. I've read it. I've read all 3 of his books. And you scroll down here to where it says eiffelhealth.com. You click that. Now you'll see Dr. Glennon there. You know you're in the right spot. You can call that number and use extension 011. And I think you'll end up talking to Brenda. It might be one of her other people, but call because sometimes you get a better deal than what's the static price on the website. They hold different specials all the time. They're not advertised. You have to call. Tell them Dan sent you from, the hot sauce, and or you can even say the show, and she'll know what that means from the Rumble show. Okay? And the Healthy Foundation Pack is the 90 essentials as well. What we were missing out of the other side was the cod liver oil. You're gonna get that satisfied with the EFA Plus here. But just remember, it was 28.95 over there for the cod liver oil when it's in stock for a month's supply. This is gonna run you that much. You see what I mean? That's why at least start there. See how you feel after 90 days of getting all of your nutrients in so that your depleted reserves have an opportunity to get back into function, and then start to, the systems that have been kind of running on fumes get to start operating again. And then after about 90 days or so, you can start evaluating, do I want to try something else? If you do, you can also mix and match. Like this, like I told you, the Tangy Tangerine is like the whole food multivitamin, but except the whole food multivitamin is whole food. This one, and this one's $42 more. So that's why I was telling you to start over there. But the plant-derived minerals would kind of be like the fulvic humic acid. And then that's a powder that you add to like 4 ounces of water over here. The fulvic right here. So this is a powder. You take about an eighth of it, 1/16 or an eighth of a teaspoon. You work your way up to an eighth. And this would be the plant-derived minerals. So remember, that one little jar was at least at the very least, it's a 3-month supply. This is a 1-month supply bottle here. So you're going to be saving money that way too, if you go with the other route. But again, when you're ready to mix and match and try new things, like I told you, I don't live without the Beyond Osteo FX. Even though I have the IP6 Supreme, I still like the Beyond Osteo FX. And I've been trying something where I'm swishing it in my mouth, not so much for teeth whitening, but for teeth straightening. I'm 46. My teeth feel duller than I used to bite fishing line. I can't even bite anything. Maybe that's why. Maybe I doled out my teeth doing stuff like that. But I used to bite fishing line all the time when I was little and break it. So there's 2 different types. The Beyond Osteo powder. My mom has this one. I don't like the powder as much as I like the liquid. When they premix it, it tastes really good to me. So I like that, and that's your magnesium. This would be like your IP6 Supreme, but having both is great. And all together in a pack is this. But like I said, call and maybe there'll be a 2-for-1 thing with like one of the bottles or something. You might get a little bit more for your money. Okay. And that's at eiffelhealth.com. That's if you want to go that route. But if you want to just keep it simple, Azure Well for there, your new doctor is right here. And then there's your vitamin supplement regimen right there. And between those 2 things, you give this thing 90 days, and then you find out if you even have issues anymore. A lot of times, they said 83% of the time, it was just the nutrients that people needed to get so that their body would start being strong enough to heal itself. And with the other 17% of the time, it required a homeopathic remedy, maybe a botanical, in addition as for support. Botanicals usually supply nutrient benefits. So it's kind of just like the same type of thing, different route. I have a book in case you care, and there's links to it. I start off with the links because they'll send it to you faster typically than I can. So there's the Barnes & Noble 6x9. There's the Amazon, where you can also get at the Amazon, you can get the hardcover. Oops. Which is this one right here, and this is colored glossy pages. It's like a book on history of some pretty dark stuff, like cults and stuff like that, and how they operate today and how they hide. And Kobo is an electronic copy. Amazon, you can still get it, the Kindle, obviously too, and Lulu's also electronic. But if you want it from me, and if I have them on hand in stock, they'll go out fast. But once I'm out of that stock, Amazon likes to slow walk copies to the authors. So it takes me sometimes over a month for the hardcover to come in. The paperback ones come in like 2 weeks maybe. So that's this one right here. So the 6 by 9 by Barnes. The only reason you'd want to get it from me directly is if you want me to sign it, and if you want it a little cheaper than what they advertise it for on their sites. I make it cheaper. I don't make it more expensive because I'm signing it. I actually make it less expensive because it's I'm not a really good businessman. I also have the cheapest creatine hydrochloride on the market pretty much too. And there's a 50 milligram. I'm sorry, a 50 gram and a 100 gram. I say that right this time? Pretty sure. Let's see if I put it in here right. Yeah, so 50 servings or 100 servings. There's a video there at the bottom. And there's a informative thing here for you to click if you want to know what creatine does. How does creatine work biologically? Is it safe? Absolutely. Does creatine cause dehydration, cramps, yada, yada, yada? And then there's question and answers all the way through here. I think you have to get a little bit. How does creatine interact with other drugs? Does creatine is a end drug? It can cause rhabdomyosis. Did I say rhabdomyosis? Yeah. FAQs. A whole bunch of ads on this site. I think up on top is where you get a majority of the. I didn't even ever watch this video. I think they added that. Yeah, so they tell you what people think creatine does to them, and it doesn't. So that's basically where they're at. They're kind of debunking all the claims. There was another article that I had on here. There was another study that was I have it in one of my videos, and it basically runs through all the positives. But I can give you some of the information here. So creatine HCl is clean source supplements that's my clean source supplements is a pure creatine that is far superior to the monohydrate form. All Simplify LLC clean source supplements are keto, and that means they are not going to throw off your efforts for the best body sugar can't buy. Which basically what that means is a lot of times there's maltodextrin interlaced into a lot of supplements that you don't know about, and it's a synthetic carbohydrate which spikes your glycemic index as if you were eating like a pound of sugar. So that's not good. Creatine HCl may support muscle strength, mental focus, overall wellness, and sexual health. No stacking phase is necessary. Take it 45 minutes to an hour prior to exercise. This part I have experienced. I'm just saying. Like if you're already healthy and you have creatine consistently for a few days, you're gonna wake up with things that are, if you know what I mean. Yeah, if you're a male. No stacking phase is necessary. Take it 45 minutes to an hour prior to exercise and follow the recommendation of 750 milligrams per 100 pounds of body weight. Since nobody's 100 pounds, I give you a scoop that's 960 milligrams, as close as I get to an actual 1 gram scoop. So that scoop will give you basically, who the heck is 100 pounds, right? So there you have it. A single scoop is just under a gram, and that should be sufficient for most people. People actively pursuing bodybuilding goals have been known to take 3 to 5 grams a day, but that is not the common manner of use. Like everything, start small. This is an unflavored, unsweetened, tart, or bitter natural flavor. Mix with at least 6 ounces of water. Stay hydrated during exercise. Yeah, I wouldn't dry scoop this, especially if it's the dust is in the air and you get it up your nose, it'll burn. Oh my god. Creatine is found in the body with 95% found in the muscles. Research has shown that it is safe to consume creatine supplements daily, even over several years. Burn victims, children, they with deterioration diseases are on creatine. approved by the FDA as a dietary supplement and has not been found to cause any adverse side effects when used properly. Here's a study provided by Healthline. As a keto for lifer, I was troubled to learn that much of the supplements, powders, and over-the-counter pharma pills are processed using maltodextrin, a synthetic carbohydrate that spells disaster for the glycemic index and failure for those in ketosis. I sought to create supplements that I could confidently use myself, realizing that stores are full of food and products with ingredients that disqualify them for a keto lifestyle, even though sometimes they claim that and actually have keto in their name. I am making these, and I find them at Sprouts all the time and can quickly debunk that. I am making these products to help others find a clean source. Even supplements, even supplement stores are full of products people struggling with extra weight should not use. Keto has always worked best for me, better than any other diet, and I always start with a 3-day or more fast before I go into keto. I have to kickstart it, and giving your body a break from digestion, which takes ton of its energy away from it, and which means it's pulling energy away from other systems functionality in your body. So the first 2 days, you're basically still working off the previous food that you had eaten and the nutrients that are already in your bloodstream. So you're not technically, even though you're not eating, you're not really fasting until like the 3rd day. I know that's hard for people to like, no, I wanted to count. Well, it does count, but it's counting towards your 3rd day, right? The hardest day is your 1st day. Once you get over that, usually a lot of your impulses quiet down in your mind. The 2nd day is usually a bit easier. Just stay incredibly hydrated so you feel full, and then you should be typically okay. If you overwash yourself out, salt does not have calories in it. You can take salt in if that's if you I mean everybody has their own rules when it comes to a fast, but if you're doing like a liquid fast, and I don't mean liquid I mean like water, black coffee, nothing that has sugar in it. Not juice, not milk. Then you should be okay. And by day 3, I mean I was doing 4 miles a day on the elliptical still. So I was still doing 1,100 calories of keto. I'm sorry, of cardio the last 3 days. Today I only did 915 calories before I said, but I kept on having to stop. And that's when I decided on my third and a half day that I was going to eat something and then start another 3-day cycle of fasting. And then after that, go into the keto. And that usually works best for me because my body has a chance to divert energy to other places when it's not having to put it all towards constantly digesting food. Because if I let myself do it, I'll wake up in the middle of the night with, sore legs because of the cardio, not be able to sleep because I maybe take an energy drink too late in the day. And next thing I know, I'm in the cupboard with a spoon and the butter and the peanut butter. It's like in the middle of the night. That's not good. It's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle. So if I stop doing all that and I just keep going with the with my head on the other side here. If I just do the fast, then I can adjust my habits accordingly and then walk my way into keto a lot easier. Because I love eggs, I love chicken, and I love tuna, and I can live off of that in different ways, and then use my awesome hot sauce on it, and I'm good to go. Uh, Simply avoid carbs and sugar isn't so simple. In practice, it's everywhere in everything, but not in clean source supplements. All right. Now, I was looking for the study that talks about the children and the women being okay with it. I think they rewrote this. Trying to sense the last. Creatine is found there. Most of the creatine in your muscles is phosphocreatine. This contributes to the generation of adenosine triphosphate, ADT, which is a molecular source of energy for your cells. Your diet and natural creatine levels do not typically maximize muscle stores of this compound. The average stores are about 120, whatever that is, in someone who weighs 154 pounds. But creatine supplements can elevate these stores to around 160. During high intensity exercise, the stored creatine helps your muscles produce more energy. Creatine supplementation could increase the production of phosphocreatine and ADT, leading to enhanced exercise performance. Once you fill your muscles' creatine stores, any extra is broken down into creatinine, metabolized by your liver and excreted in urine. Creatine alters your body's stored water content, driving additional water into your muscle cells. This fact may be behind the theory that creatine causes dehydration and muscle cramps. However, this shift in cellular water content is minor, and the ISSN found that no research supports these claims. Instead, the ISSN notes that many studies found creatine supplementation may have a hyperhydrating effect that could help prevent dehydration and muscle cramps when exercising in hot temperatures, like in Arizona. Similarly, a 3-year 2003 study of college athletes found that those taking creatine had fewer cases of dehydration, muscle cramps, or muscle injuries than those not taking it. They also missed fewer sessions due to illness or injury. Based on the current evidence, creatine does not cause dehydration or cramping. It may even protect against these conditions. Does creatine cause weight gain? Where's that? Research has thoroughly documented that creatine supplements can cause quick increase in body weight. This weight gain, however, is due to the increase in water weight, not fat. In 2019, study found that taking 2 grams of creatine daily and exercising twice weekly for 5 weeks helped participants aged 50 years and older lose slightly more body fat than participants who only exercised. So it helps you lose weight. A 2023 review found similar results in people younger than 50 years old. Yeah, this is a lot of times people have progress report issues when it comes to the scale, because it'd be like, I can fluctuate 5 to 10 pounds in 2 days depending on what I'm doing. But the misconception here is that you're loaded with a bunch of food, which maybe you are, that hasn't digested yet, which, I mean, that is a potential possibility, or that it's fat that you lost, but that's the part that's not correct. It's water fluctuation in your system. So if you really want to like wow yourself, work out for like a couple weeks, taking 1 to 2 grams of creatine a day and staying hydrated, and then like I said, like a week or two at the end of that cycle, do a lot of cardio for like 2 or 3 days straight without doing the creatine at all, and just drinking, water while you're exercising. You're going to be sweating out more than you're probably putting in. In the morning, when you go to step on that scale, you'll probably lose 10 pounds, but most of it's going to be water. You're going to look great, though. However, this weight gain is due to increased muscle mass, not body fat. Okay, so here we go. Over the long term, creatine users may continue to increase their body weight more than people who don't take it. However, this weight gain is due to muscle mass, not body weight. Increased muscle mass may especially benefit older adults, individuals with obesity, and those with certain diseases. This is good for you. How does creatine affect your kidneys and liver? Creatine can slightly raise creatinine levels in the blood. Creatinine is commonly measured to diagnose kidney or liver conditions. However, the fact that creatine raises creatinine levels does not mean it's harming your liver or kidneys. A 2020 study found that taking up to 5 grams of creatine, remember the daily dose for somebody who's like, okay, if let's say you're 130 pounds, taking the 1 gram is fine. If you're 150 pounds, taking 1 gram is probably still fine. If you're 250 pounds, maybe taking 2 grams is like where you should be at. So if you're taking 5 grams of creatine daily for 35 days, it did not affect their kidney function. Similarly, another 2020 study found that creatine supplementation did not impact blood, urine, and metabolic markers, as well as kidney function. A 4-year 2001 study, one of the longest studies to date, concluded that creatine supplementation has no negative side effects. Similarly, the ISSN notes that no study of creatine use in healthy individuals has provided evidence of harm to these organs. That said, it's still the best to use caution when taking creatine supplements if you have a history of liver or kidney concerns. A healthcare professional can help you decide whether creatine is right for you. Does creatine cause digestive concerns? As with many supplements or medications, Excessive doses of creatine may cause digestive issues. In a 2008 study, a 5-gram dose taken twice daily caused diarrhea in 29% of the participants. But here's what they don't ever tell you. What were these people's gut flora like? How many nutrients did they have in them? How heavy were they? Were they 120-pound women or were they 250-pound guys? Because the 250-pound guys probably didn't get the diarrhea. And then if they were all if they were all fully nutrified with 90 essential nutrients, their body would have been functioning the way it needed to, and it wouldn't have sensitivities to even a 5-gram dose. So, like your terrain, your ability to, your body goes through stress because life is full of different types of stressors, negative stressors. Positive stress is exercise. Negative stressors are toxins, toxins in your food, water, and air, bad food that you're eating, radiation, emotional stress. All these things are stress factors. Your body health is defined by your body's ability to undergo those stresses and maintain homeostatic, asymptomatic existence. Like you're staying on an even plane and it's not bothering you. So that means that your body's strong enough to take the impact of these other things that are occurring to you. It's not that they're not occurring to you. It's just that when everybody else is walking through the swamp who's under-nutrified and they started getting sick and then like, oh, this is called malaria because we gave it a name. Yeah, okay. Well, how come you didn't get sick? That's because you had 90 essentials, man. It's like that was your armor. Your body had all the things it needed to do what it's supposed to do on its own. It's not because of anything other than most people are under-nutrified. A 10-gram dose taken once a day increased diarrhea risk by 56%. Well, yeah, if you take 20 pounds of something, I'm sure it's probably not good for you. For this reason, the recommended serving is set at 3 to 5 grams daily. 20-gram loading protocol is also split up into, they're talking about monohydrate. You don't have to worry about this with creatine hydrochloride, which is what I use. It's not the monohydrate form where you have to bulk up on it. I'm sorry, you have to do a loading phase of 20 grams. So you don't have to do that when you're doing it with the hydrochloride. It's already bioavailable. So 3 is fine for most people. 2 is probably fine for most people. And essentially 1 is probably better because monohydrate, you have to take a whole lot more. So if you're taking 1 gram of creatine in the hydrochloride form, you're probably taking 5 grams of the monohydrate. Okay. So the 1 gram of creatine in the hydrochloride form, the bitter form, is better. It's more Johnny on the spot, right? So it says, interestingly, a 2021 review found that creatine supplementation may help reduce the severity of inflammatory bowel diseases. You mean like Crohn's? Oh, that sounds great. These are usually characterized by gastrointestinal symptoms like diarrhea, abdominal pain, and bloody stools. It's possible that additives, ingredients, or contaminants generated during the industrial production of creatine completed digestive concerns. So yeah, don't get it from China. However, no evidence suggests creatine causes digestive concerns when taken in recommended doses. It's recommended that the person does creatine give you acne. No evidence suggests. Does creatine interact with other drugs? Because you'll list there. Can creatine cause compartment syndrome? I don't know what that is. Found increased muscle pressure during 2 hours of heat training, but this resulted mainly from heat and exercise-induced dehydration, not creatine. Some claim that creatine supplements can increase your risk of rhabdomyolysis. Myolysis. I had this, but no evidence supports this. That was from me walking 20 miles nonstop and running some of it, jogging some of it. But I did like 20 miles. And they told me I had rhabdo because I had high markers in my blood. And they said, oh, that could affect your kidneys. I don't think I really had a problem, except I was just sore. I think they were full of crap. The myth originated because a marker in your blood called creatine kinase is used to help diagnose the condition. However, the slight increase from creatine supplementation is different from the large amounts associated with rhabdomyolysis. So that must have been what they were saying. Oh, you must. These aren't always, they get false indicators because they think something means something that doesn't always mean what they think it means. Just like telling somebody, oh, yeah, you have acute leukemia when you probably could have just fixed it with nutrition. But yet now that person's being slowly murdered with poisons. And they're stealing every last penny in medical bills before they kill the person. Like, we don't want to just kill you. We want to suck you dry first. Research has shown that it is safe to consume creatine supplements daily, even over several years. No evidence supports significant detrimental side effects in people who consume high doses of creatine. In fact, athletes who take daily creatine supplements for long periods of time experience positive health benefits. Who can take it? Well, let me tell you. There's a misconception that creatine is suitable only for adult male athletes, yet no research suggests it's unsuitable in recommended doses for adult females. And 2021's review suggests creatine supplementation may have several benefits for females, such as improving muscular strength, function, and performance during premenopause. Did you catch that? Muscular strength, function, and performance during premenopause, which also hints at hormonal quieting in the sense that it's stabilizing, right? Mood and mental cognition, hence the stabilizing of the hormones. Bone health. Studies lasting as long as 3 years also have found no negative effects of creatine in children. It's been used as a medical intervention in children for certain conditions such as neuromuscular disorders and muscle loss. See, that's the thing I was talking about earlier. It's not just beneficial for athletic performance. You can lower blood lipid markers such as cholesterol and triglyceride levels, reduce liver fat, heart disease risk, and bone loss, provide antioxidant benefits, control blood sugar levels, slow down cancer progression. Did you catch that? Improve osteoarthritis symptoms and cognitive function. You know that helps improve cognitive function? Cholesterol, that thing that they tell you not to take in because they're claiming it's going to clog your arteries when that's not how it works. Salt and cholesterol are your friends. When you remove them, you get dementia and Alzheimer's because your body is in desperate need of it to create your hormones. You need cholesterol to create your hormones. Hormones are created in the liver. Statins mess up your liver so it can't create hormones and so it can't create cholesterol. And then your brain starts to become funky and old and die inside your head because it's 70% cholesterol. So if you don't have continuous cholesterol, you have a brain that's withering away in your head, and then you have all kinds of, cognitive issues. All the things that doctors should know about, refuse to believe, refuse to accept, and are killing you for it. And calling you stupid, and don't let your Google search, don't confuse your Google search with my PhD kind of bullshit. Screw those people. They don't know what they're doing and they're killing you. How about you tell them to quiet down? All right. Where are we at? Oh, I don't know if you saw this, but on I'll put this back up real quick. Let's go to semperfryllc.com. Blink. Oops. So we are at semperfryllc.com, and we talked about this. We talked about that. We just talked about the creatine, talked about my book, and then here's the hot sauce, finally. And if you scroll, you'll find the spicy honey right here. Bam. And this thing doesn't come with it anymore. The company that we were getting it from stopped doing it a long time ago. Like during COVID things, we're like, yeah, everything's more expensive. And now we have tariffs too. So it's like not conducive. So this is Rebecca's awesome creation. I can't take credit for this one. I do all the hot sauces, but she does this. And the ones shipped are not decorated, is what it says right there. I don't have 12-ounce ones right now, but I do have the 6-ounce. So just go to the 6-ounce bottle, and they're ready to rock. All right, this is the 6-ounce bottle right here, the glass one. So this is what it looked like when you get it with that, minus the guitar, minus my left-handed guitar. Okay, Okay, so if you go to videos, I put the Johnny Scoville one up there. It's also on the main menu, but if you want, it's right there. And then there's the one where I tried his Carolina Reaper nuts. Johnny Scoville tried my hot sauces not too long ago, and he did a review for a bunch of them. I put them all together in one video and edited that one. This is Dr. Monzo in action a long time ago. We've had a lot of talks since then. I've become a better interviewer since then. This is Sammy the Bull Gravano trying awesome hot sauce. Forget about it. And then these are some old videos I did. The cat's flying in space. Nothing wrong with that. And there's Rebecca a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. At our farmers markets back when we had the old sign too. And our store, I miss it a little bit, but at the same time, I know that would have been, it's a lot of overhead, so much overhead that you're working a lot to hit zero. And then the distance, and then, tourism and travel in other countries and everything being more expensive lately. It hasn't helped anybody nobody has the disposable funds anymore. And I think, I think California isn't a place that's as desirable as it used to be for people to travel to anyway. Because we were right on a trolley station line, right next to an airport. And when things were good, they were great. And things made sense back then. And then the world completely like inverted, and everything that used to make sense didn't anymore. I haven't updated my testimonials in a long time. But videos, ordering tips. It's kind of outdated now a little bit. Menus. So there you go. And then Dr. Monzo's book is over here. You just click it. And if you do, my code for this book discount should already be embedded. So if you click on the book, you see his education. It says Elf-Tov Body System Book. It's this guy right here. And the Binder Book USA is the one that I just showed you, or you can get Healing Made Simple Condensed ebook, which is cheaper. It'll come with a discount. You go there. There's also at his shop, you can go to his courses if you want to learn how to use the book. There's a what do you call it? Course 1 for past participants, free. Start there. Introductory course system. This is kind of get you familiar. Healthy Foundations collection right there. And then when you're ready to go for it, this is the 21-hour course that's actually just like taking it like an actual course. And if you want to do the 3.5-day in-person course, there's one coming up in May for Montana. But you have to have the 21 hours in first, and before you go there, it has to be verified through the computer system that the course is done, so that you're not gonna you've done your homework, so that when it comes to the hands-on thing, you'll be ready to understand what to do. The other thing at the shop, if you hit the store button, is this right here. Sorry, the energy iodine. Oh, it's sold out. Shit. Never mind. I was only kidding. Okay. Let's just go over there for the book then. And there you go, kids. Thank you so much for spending time with me. One Stop Shop is your coupon code. And I will be making another big order for the store, for the Crazy Pepper, it's called now, in Old Town. Same place, just a new operator. And they have a bunch of different other sauces in there in addition to mine. And you're still going to be able to get them on my website. And because I don't have to pay all the overhead that he does, of course, mine are going to be cheaper on the website. Even when you consider the shipping, which, by the way, the United States Postal Service has pretty much lost their minds when it comes to how much you're charging these days. I'm taking a little bit of loss each one because I haven't really raised any of my prices in like the last 8 years. But it's starting to cost me more to do that. So just a heads up on that. I'm usually really happy when people order from California or Arizona because it's closer and the shipping isn't like putting me in the negative each time. But there you go. And then there's all the sauces. Yeah, like I said, by the 20th, there'll be another 38 cases, I think, going to the store. And there's more there right now. I mean, there's some there right now. But another batch will be going out that way on the 20th. And what else am I doing? I got a bunch of internet orders I have to take care of, but now would be the time to get yours in if you want me to hit them up with this round of sauce orders. I made my list already, but if they come in the next couple of days, I'll be able to put them up with the next ones and roll those out as I'm making the other order for the store, the wholesale order. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you learned something. And what am I looking at here? If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, what is this? Why am I missing here? Oh, I see. I think. Hold on. That is happening. 16. Wow, that took forever to find. Just, I guess the last thing would be to just make sure that, what the heck, man? Every time I press a button, it's the wrong one. When you are on this page, am I on the wrong side again? Jesus Christ. All right, this side. Can I have it back? So this right here, if you want to learn more, this is Dr. Peter Glidden's. Depending on what, see, this is weird because it's on my laptop. This is cropped properly. On my computer, it's not. Maybe it's the way because this is a TV screen, so it's different. Its layout's different. It's different software, right? For a 4K TV than it would be for a laptop or a computer monitor. So maybe it looks right on yours, but it looks weird on mine. Most recent one was 3 days ago. It's up here, but I do live stream to this channel every Wednesday with Dr. Glidden. I live stream to 3 different places, but it will be on this channel for sure. And I put a lot of these up here. This is like one of my, let's see, where's the first one I did with him? It doesn't matter, but it's not like they're in a episodic order. But yeah, there was a lot of good times to be had. Really great people. Dr. Monzo on quite a few of them. As you see, the Dr. Monzo on with Mike Adams. I got them on to Mike Adams. That's why I included them. I introduced Dr. Glidden to Mike Adams. I introduced Dr. Monzo to Mike Adams, and it was made 2 really good friendships out of it, which was cool. Yeah, very good stuff. Oh, see, there's Dr. Wallach right there, Dr. Joel Wallach, who worked with Dr. Peter Glidden or he worked, however way you want to look at it. He worked with him, he had to work with the other, or whatever. But you should check out these, and you'll learn an awful lot. Here's what all 4 of us, the whole gang is there. You got Mike Adams, Dr. Glidden, Dr. Monzo, and myself. What a great day. All right, kids. Have a wonderful evening and support your local hot sauce guy and his family. Have a good holiday. The code is One Stop Shop for the coupon code. When I put out the emailer, I will probably have this additional information in there for holiday specials. So you'll want to open those up if you're on the list. Okay? Okay. Hey, Mike. What's up, Mike? I didn't expect anybody to even be in here. What's up? Cayenne is shown to help in blood flow in the science field. Yeah, there's also phytonutrients and micronutrients in there too. Gotta get some creatine. Yes, sir. Thank you. And I will be back, but on my other channel, probably this evening once I stand up and stretch. So, Mike, if you're out there, I'll see you in a few, my friend. You just made the show. You made it onto the show. You are now encapsulated in history forever.